Hello traders, Greg here. So semiconductors stabilizing on this 20 MA and unfilled gap and that price support there. We covered that pre-market. So far they're holding, starting to give it back a little, as you can see here on the 5-minute, and this little sell setup on the 65-minute. So in a situation like this, what I want to look for is this could either make a lower low into this support over here. And then the momentum slowing. So when we read slowing momentum, we don't need to use indicators. We can see as this moved down, there was a lot of momentum. Right? It's igniting, moved to the downside, it stabilized. A little bounce, and the next move down, still strong momentum. How do I read that? Bar by bar, just continued to move lower, lower high, lower lows. And then we got this wide range bar, it's stabilized, and you got a little bit of a bounce. So this could set up what we call a W bottom. And a W bottom is defined as a climactic move lower, a shallow retracement, a next move down. Sometimes it makes a lower low, maybe a higher low, we don't know. And you get a retest and reversal at that point. So we'll be looking to see if that unfolds. Looking at the Qs, which are showing a little relative strength compared to other sectors we'll look at. I don't know where this is going to end, but you can see the same sell setup here, which suggests it'll go lower. We'll see if it stays above the opening price, which is the blue line. See as it's starting to move down. Even if it closes green, a setup like this, which is not on support yet, has a higher tendency for the first reversal to fail and then move down to that support, making a lower high and a lower low, where it would set up a good buy setup. So anytime you look to be long, whatever it is, you want that to set up in an area of support. Now, if it was just starting the move off of a correction and coming off of a bottom, that's where continuation patterns are more likely to work out well versus waiting for pullbacks. Where this got extended and you have this shallow pullback where if it could turn up, it opens the possibility for an M top since it got short-term extended. But if the buy setup, which it hasn't triggered above a prior bar's high, but if the turn fails, it'll have a tendency to come down with a measured type of a move down toward a support level, which would be around here in the Qs. So we're in the middle of no man's land. We're waiting for things to set up. The markets, S&Ps, just an inside day. It looks like it's ready to break yesterday's low. It already came down a greater than 100% retracement to take out the low there. Most times it's going to stabilize. If it goes sideways here for an hour or so, it can't bounce. That will lead to a greater possibility that it breaks lower in the afternoon. A lot of times it goes sideways, chops around until around 215 or so. Moving averages catch up, and then it goes lower. We'll see. The Dow, which was the strongest yesterday, is the weakest today, and gave back all of the gain plus some, and it even pushed under 39,000 for a moment before it began to bounce from the whole number. There's very little to no support directly to the left here. Nonetheless, it's short-term extended. We'll see how much this stabilizes or not. And let's see what is strong and what's weak. Amazon had a big, nasty reversal day, so I'm looking at Dow stocks now. Big, nasty reversal day yesterday, just an inside day today. Apple is strong, just an inside day. Amgen, truly stronger, but giving back the gain, topping tail for the moment. Intel doing absolutely nothing. Let me just sort this again, make sure it's updated. Yeah, Intel up 0.5%. Cisco up about 0.5%. Microsoft inside day. So you can see most things aren't going anywhere. CRM, that looks like maybe it could roll back over here. So far holding support, as you can see. Disney gave back. Looked like it was going to head up. 3M, bottoming tail bar. We'll see how that holds on to. Merck, JPM, a lot of the financials giving back. This is holding up relatively well, But if you look at XLF, another nasty day there. So closing like that would suggest it's going to go lower, and of course then we'll just see if it actually breaks tomorrow. And just going back to the Dow stocks, Verizon, that was at resistance, Coca-Cola at resistance, so we're always going to see what they're going to do there. Visa doing absolutely nothing, Chevron hanging there, Honeywell, it moved up, backing off, Goldman Sachs backing off, J&J, the same. Travelers looks lower, little sell setup there. There's a better looking sell setup. Why? Because it initially broke down here. It's retraced into this minor resistance. It's got moving averages. There was a rejection yesterday. That's a much better sell setup. Looking for prices to go lower and the reward to risk makes sense. PG, a rejection after making a new high there yesterday. Another sell setup, Caterpillar, McDonald's, UNH, maybe this will finally break. You can see this head and shoulders type of a top there and this neckline that is formed. And so far, it's just been holding up. Set an alert. See if it breaks or not. IBM looked great yesterday, gave back. So, overall, Nike giving back. Look at that. Walmart gapping below multiple bars. Definitely bearish. Dow lower. Boeing looks like could be ready to make the next leg lower. Home Depot. This is, you can hear my tonality in my voice kind of disheartening in that, not that I was long it, but you have this bottoming pattern, which I always say they tend to be treacherous, and this is why. Because it looked great. When they come and they move lower like this, and so the momentum to the downside slowed, and it had a nice rally as interest rates came lower. And so many times these bottoming patterns look so encouraging and bullish. They take out resistance, they're holding up relatively well, and they give it all back. So it's not uncommon for this to happen, but, as I said, it's a little disheartening when something looks so good and it looks like it can continue to move higher, and then it just collapses so violently as this did, and giving it all back in light of the fact that, interest rates are staying low. So things are changing. Whereas interest rates coming down like this, it initially helped Home Depot and home builders, and now that they're staying low, then they're either those stocks are moving lower or just hanging there. You can see Lennar, that looks like it's going to go down. So things are changing under the surface, which, as I wrote in the letter last weekend, you need to be careful here because, look, while the correction, whatever it may turn out to be, as we look at things like the S&P 500 and the Qs, it won't be a big deal. If this pulls back into this support area, percentage-wise, I'm not sure how much this is. Let's just say it has a 5% correction or a little more, give or take. There are going to be stocks that are going to be crushed. It's always the way it is. The market hides underlying strength and weakness. So being aware of that, I'm just reinforcing the fact that you need to adhere to your money management plan. Hopefully you have one. Otherwise, you will not last in this business. As always, if you have any questions, email us, Greg and Dan at Master Trader.